Episode 1 opens with Royal Abbot asking about Kronos, a Greek god who used a sickle to divide known and unknown worlds. 3 days earlier, Royal's wife Cecilia tells him about dreaming of their son Perry's missing wife Rebecca with their children. Royal checks on the kids and rides out, hearing a strange rumbling while watching cattle through binoculars. At breakfast, their granddaughter Amy tells violent stories while Perry catches her feeding the dog. His brother Rhett comes in smelling like a distillery. Amy isn't happy with Rhett eating her bacon. Royal is confused about the time, thinking it's 8 a.m. when it's 10 a.m.
You better do it quick. We're leaving for church in 5.
Rhett suggests he get a mobile phone. After church, Amy gives Royal her drawing of heaven. Cecilia warns him about being late for church, but he misreads his watch. At a rodeo, Rhett fails to ride a bull named Twister, lasting only seconds. Royal tries to encourage him, blaming it on the bull. Amy calls it a bullsh ride, and Rhett waves at Maria Olivares. That night, Cecilia tells Amy about meeting Royal for the first time. Farm animals become agitated from a rumbling noise, causing birds to scatter across the sky. Wayne Tillerson feels something strange, rubs what looks like a rock, talks to his stuffed buffalo head about feeling and hearing it, and calls Cecilia to warn her about something strange happening. Perry reports 2 missing cattle. While checking, they meet Autumn, a camper who offers cash to stay on their land. Royal initially refuses, saying the land is for cattle, not tourists, but accepts when she offers money.
I'm glad to finally meet you.
Rhett finds it suspicious she has money but no car. The Abbotts encounter Luke and Trevor Tillerson, who claim the Abbotts' fence is on Tillerson land and must be moved back nearly a mile within 30 days. Luke seems confused about his father Wayne's actions, but Trevor refuses to discuss it when Royal offers to talk. Royal finds a large circular hole while searching for cows near Autumn's tent. Putting his hand in, he sees a vision of his house with Cecilia talking about someone named Joy visiting, her voice sounding muffled in the extremely bright room. His hand comes out covered in black soot that instantly vanishes. He returns home to find Deputy Sheriff Joy announcing the FBI is stopping the 9-month search for Rebecca, explaining how cases become lower priority after 9 months. Royal tries covering the hole with dirt, a shovel, and a tarp but fails. He tosses in county assessor documents before seeing a bison with 2 arrows on its flank. He warns Autumn to stay near the creek when he finds her plucking bird feathers. She mentions sensing something special on the land and promises to be there if he wants to trade secrets about selling the ranch, though Royal says Cecilia would never sell.
Woman's gotta keep her secrets, doesn't she?
Perry and Rhett go to a bar. Perry gives Rhett bull riding tips and encourages him to approach Maria, but she dances with another man. Perry throws up near a couple making out outside, leading to a fight with Trevor Tillerson. Rhett joins and knocks Trevor out. Maria tells Rhett he was cheated with the Twister ride. When Trevor makes a cruel comment about Rebecca running away with another man, Perry beats him severely until he stops moving. The brothers panic and bring Trevor's unconscious body to their ranch in a truck bed. On the way, they encounter the same marked bison blocking the highway. Royal helps cover it up, sending Rhett to clean the truck and burn bloody clothes while he handles the body. Luke and Billy Tillerson come looking for Trevor at 1 a.m., questioning Perry about his swollen knuckles, which he claims came from a horse injury. Perry uses the barn light to signal warnings to Royal and Rhett. Royal tries moving Trevor's body on horseback while Luke and Billy chase him in a truck and 4-wheeler. His horse gets spooked and runs away. Trevor's body falls from the horse, so Royal carries it over a barbed wire fence, losing his shirt in the wire. He drops the body in the mysterious hole, watching it float downward until it vanishes completely. Autumn appears with a bright light, catching Royal at the hole. She asks if he knows about Kronos and explains how the Greek god cut a hole with a sickle.
Civilization, he's evolved here and there.
When Royal insists only he knows about the hole, Autumn caresses his arms, promises to keep his secret about throwing a body in the hole, and then unexpectedly pushes him backward into it. Episode 2 opens with Luke and Billy Tillerson driving across the ranch while Autumn Rivers quickly takes down her tent. Cecilia Abbott stops them and asks if they drove through her fence. After cleaning dirt from Billy's face, she tells them to leave. Luke tries to keep the door open, asking where Royal and Rhett Abbott are. Cecilia demands an apology, and Billy quietly gives one. The scene shifts to show a buffalo with 2 arrows in its side. Royal lies unconscious on the ground in the rain. When he wakes up, he reaches for his horse, and 3 large scratches are visible on his back. Royal returns home shirtless to find Rhett, Perry, and Cecilia at the dining table. He won't tell them what happened. Perry brings up Trevor Tillerson's body, but Rhett says he doesn't want to know about it.
I need you all to trust me.
Is she still out there?
Perry offers to take the blame alone. Cecilia reminds them they're all involved. Royal refuses to give advice, only saying the body is gone. When Rhett mentions Autumn camping on their land, Cecilia learns about her presence. Royal tells them to trust him when Perry worries about Autumn seeing them dispose of Trevor's body. Cecilia tells Royal to make Autumn leave. After Royal promises to handle it, they scold him about losing his shirt, which could be evidence. Amy points out that Royal's leg is bleeding. While Cecilia stitches Royal's leg wound, he tells her Luke shot him. He watches blood wash away in the sink. At the Hawk household, Rose draws on Joy's campaign poster for sheriff while Joy talks to Luke on the phone about Trevor. Joy drives past Rhett, who changes direction when he sees her. At the Tillerson ranch, Luke gives Joy Trevor's bloody belt buckle and pushes her to investigate. He reminds her that the town has never had an Indian sheriff, and she responds that it's never had a gay sheriff either. Luke offers the Tillerson family's support for her campaign.
Never been an Indian sheriff before.
Or a gay one.
Rhett visits Maria at the bank, learning that the bull rider who beat him tested positive for drugs. He asks her to dinner and apologizes for his behavior at the roadhouse. She agrees not to mention their fight with Trevor. Royal and Perry meet with attorney Todd Barney about the Tillersons claiming 600 acres of Abbott land. Barney suggests giving Wayne the land, but Royal refuses. Later, Royal visits Wayne Tillerson, who questions his leg injury. Royal finds Dr. Nia Bintu's business card. They argue about the land dispute, and Royal offers 200 acres of south pasture, but Wayne wants the west pasture. Autumn meets Amy in the woods near a rock formation. Amy tells her about Royal's strange behavior at breakfast. Autumn seems very interested in Royal and stares at the Abbott brand. Royal finds his bloody shirt hanging at Autumn's campsite and throws it into the mysterious hole. At dinner, Royal gives an angry prayer about the void between humans and God.
But I really hate you.
When Amy mentions meeting Autumn, Royal forbids everyone from talking to her and orders the cattle move to the east pasture. During the cattle move, Royal chases after a cow heading toward the hole and ropes it just in time. Later, in the barn, Royal looks at a hidden photo when Autumn appears. She reveals she saw him dispose of Trevor's body in the hole. She tells him she was in a cult and asks if he remembers being younger than 9 years old. The episode ends with Royal experiencing a vision or time jump where he sees an oil derrick, a tank marked BY9, and people including someone who looks like Autumn and Deputy Joy. Cecilia appears and tells him he's dead and to run. Luke shoots him in the leg, and people grab him, but Royal manages to jump back into the hole. Episode 3 opens with Royal narrating about how storms of molten rock created soil and granite, how the earth split and grew to touch the sky, and how forests and people repeatedly grew and died without the sky caring about any of it happening. Amy can't sleep and joins River for ice cream in the dark. She finishes his sentence about his first ice cream at 10 years old, saying he's told the story hundreds of times. She questions his explanation about his bleeding leg injury from a fence, boldly stating she doesn't believe him.
Why was your leg bleeding?
Deputy Sheriff Joy stops at a convenience store to put up a campaign poster. After a failed conversation with Gladys, she confronts and arrests an armed tweaker guy after a struggle. While transporting him, he mentions locals disappearing, including his cousin 6 months ago. At the sheriff's office, Deputy Matt congratulates her arrest, and she tells officers to compare her K-9 plan with Trudy's. Joy discusses Trevor's disappearance with Trudy Cole, the Lander chief of police, sarcastically mentioning working together after her election. Luke tells Wayne about no signs of Trevor for 4 days and his inability to access Trevor's credit card activity. Wayne surprisingly demands Luke offer $1 million for Abbott's west pasture, showing more interest in the land than finding Trevor. When questioned, Wayne rants about animals with superb hearing. Luke refuses to make the offer, accusing Wayne of caring more about the land than his own son. Autumn finds a strange object while digging and sees the buffalo with 2 arrows in its flank. She removes one arrow before the buffalo jolts away. She hitchhikes to get a prescription for lamotrigine at Wagong Drugs, then meets Perry at the Handsome Gambler, where they discuss his wife missing for 9 months and her experience with depression.
How long you been married? I just saw the ring on your finger.
Billy encounters Amy by her school bus, offering her dipping tobacco and suggesting her mom and Trevor are together while singing a song. Cecilia thinks she sees Rebecca driving a truck while getting groceries. Royal and Red argue about moving cattle from west to east pasture and protecting fragile Perry while fixing a fence, where Royal pricks his finger. At a rodeo, Joy questions Red about Trevor's blood on a found belt buckle. Red denies knowing about it but tells Royal. Red performs well in his ride, topping the scoreboard. Later, at the Handsome Gambler, Red and Maria discuss her leaving graduate school and why he never asked her out in high school. A near fight with a drunk man ends with Red falling down. After kissing Maria outside, Red gets arrested for urinating on Officer Mark's police vehicle. Joy releases Rhett but mentions upcoming interviews with all pit bar patrons about Trevor's disappearance. Rhett admits to fighting Trevor that night but claims they went separate ways afterward. Royal sees Rhett's release form through a window while waiting. During their drive home, Royal reveals his past. Contrary to what he told everyone, only his father died when he was young, and he ran away, never seeing his mother or younger sister again. He shows Rhett Trevor's belt buckle, then tosses it into the mysterious hole. Joy meets Frank Harlan about her sheriff bid. He describes a worker hearing strange rumbling noises and seeing a prehistoric mastodon in caves on his ranch, explaining how such creatures lived there during the Pliocene epoch until dying out in the Pleistocene epoch.
He shines his light deeper still.
Meanwhile, Royal visits Autumn to start over, questioning her about shoving him into the hole and her memories before age 9. She refuses his offer to stay if she avoids his family and asks about his whole experience. He reveals it's a portal to a different time. When they shake hands, Royal sees the mountain disappear into a cloud of dust. Joy witnesses the same phenomenon while driving and slams her brakes. At the sheriff's office, Matt mentions numerous public complaints about a disappearing mountain. Luke demands DNA results from Trevor's belt buckle, insisting it is Rhett's blood. Amy climbs a mountain peak and discovers Trevor's lifeless body lying on the ground. Horrified, she runs home to tell Perry, Cecilia, and Royal. Joy receives Royal's call about finding Trevor's body while discovering the belt buckle missing from her desk drawer. The episode ends with Royal standing silently as Luke declares Trevor is dead. Episode 4 opens with Pablo showing Wayne Tillerson a rock found near Abbott's West pasture. Wayne recognizes it from his childhood, shown in a brief flashback near the hole. He orders Pablo to bring him any similar rocks directly and starts dancing and singing with the rock in his hands. Deputy Joy questions Matt about Trevor's missing belt buckle and Royal's presence in her office. At Abbott's farm, Joy, Matt, and EMTs investigate Trevor's body. Joy notes the absence of decay and rigor mortis despite the time passed and spots a throat contusion. She dismisses Matt's suggestions about animal attacks or falls, and Royal confirms they're not on Abbott land.
Our property ends at the tree line down by the trailhead.
Joy interviews the Abbott family at their home, secretly texting someone to watch Rhett. She questions Amy about finding Trevor and the Tillerson brothers' previous visit. The family claims Royal was asleep and Rhett was with a woman that night. Amy hesitates before confirming Royal was in bed, and admits Rhett wasn't home. Outside, Joy mentions public reports of a disappearing mountain and questions Royal about taking items from her office. She orders Matt to prevent Rhett from using his phone once he learns about Trevor's body. Royal urgently tells Perry to contact Rhett, who's at Bison Valley Bank where Maria works. Matt observes Rhett and attempts to question him about the Trevor fight. Bank manager teaches Maria about new accounts when Rhett appears. After Perry reaches Rhett with news of Trevor's body, Maria provides an alibi but is called back to work. Meanwhile, Joy informs the Tillerson brothers about Trevor's discovery while Wayne strips naked before his buffalo mount. Autumn encounters Perry and requests a photo of his missing wife, claiming she might have seen her during her travels. She specifically asks if Trevor's body was found in the west pasture where she's camping.
I know what gold does to men's souls.
Cecilia learns the land dispute hearing is scheduled soon, which Royal wants to prevent. He examines and crushes a strange rock found at the crime scene. Joy interviews Maria at the bank about the night Trevor died, asking for confirmation from her parents about her arrival time between 1 o'clock and 1:30 a.m. At the sheriff's department, Joy separately questions Rhett and Perry. When Maria's story contradicts their accounts about who was last seen in the parking lot, Royal and his attorney interrupt to free them. Afterward, Royal warns them to stay quiet when Rhett accuses Perry of planning to blame him.
I want you to buck up and be smart for once.
Patricia Tillerson arrives by helicopter to confront Wayne about not investigating Trevor's disappearance earlier. She scorns Wayne while Billy hugs her warmly and Luke reluctantly embraces her. Wayne shows her a special rock, singing while she vows to find Trevor's killer and help Luke save the ranch while Wayne goes loco and dies. Royal threatens Carl Cleaver over lunch about canceling the land dispute hearing, accusing him of accepting Wayne's bribe. At the coroner's office, Patricia demands to observe Trevor's autopsy despite Joy's objections about family presence. Gary reveals Trevor died from trachea trauma and had been dead only 10 hours when found, though he was last seen 8 days prior. The autopsy results were confirmed 3 times. During Trevor's funeral, Patricia dramatically opens the casket and declares Perry the killer. Autumn compliments Billy's singing while Joy discusses the case with Martha Hawk, questioning Rose Hawk's absence and debating whether Royal is truthful or a skilled con man. At the Weil and Grady Saloon, Rhett apologizes to Maria, who admits liking him but refuses involvement in their activities. Royal and Joy discuss missing items and the nature of chaos. Royal then plays cards with Autumn, making her show her feet after telling a story about a card player with hooves. They bet on her permanent ranch stay versus her rock necklace. Royal wins by cheating with a hidden deuce of hearts.
Tall, pale man in a long coat says he wants to play.
Wayne watches Gunsmoke when his spilled drink causes the rock to bubble mysteriously. He drives recklessly through a fence to the black hole, demanding to be shown something. Royal confronts him there, leading to a struggle where Royal headbutts Wayne, but Wayne retaliates by knocking Royal unconscious with the rock. The episode ends with Wayne driving away, leaving Royal unconscious by the hole. Episode 5 opens with Wayne knocking Royal unconscious and driving away triumphantly. At home, he shows Billy and Luke a special rock, experiencing a flashback of his young self seeing something mysterious crawl out of a dark hole. Wayne then collapses suddenly and is rushed to the hospital, with Luke accompanying him in the ambulance while Billy stays home. While unconscious near the hole, Royal has a vision of a beaten Trevor, who yells that time's a mother for her. Upon waking, Royal sees emergency vehicles heading down the road toward the Tillersons and drives away in his pickup truck. Cecilia calls Kath about Wayne's condition and asks about Patricia's power of attorney status, but Kath is unsure. Meanwhile, Perry apologizes to Rhett about their conversation with Deputy Joy, and Rhett calls himself dumb for helping with Trevor's situation. Perry makes a solemn promise to prevent the police from pinning Trevor's murder on Rhett. Returning to the house, Cecilia senses something amiss and grabs her gun. She finds Autumn inside, who claims she entered when no one answered the door. Autumn demands her necklace that Royal won in poker, leading to a tense confrontation where Autumn suggests Royal is hiding things. Cecilia forces her to empty her pockets and leave the house at gunpoint. Deputy Matt provides Joy with a comprehensive list of employees and their schedules from the past week. A bird sits on the roof peak as they discuss someone named Hector who uses different phone numbers. Joy meets with Hector, who positively identifies Perry from a photo as being in the parking lot that night. Royal visits Dr. Bintu at the University of Wyoming to discuss Autumn's necklace. She identifies it as amber, possibly stabilizing something inside, revealing Wayne had visited weeks ago about a land survey. Royal spots a photo of Bintu with others in front of a BY-9 tank but refuses to leave the necklace for further research. He then tries researching BY-9 at the library but finds only a disconnected phone number. At Bible study, Cecilia confesses to feeling lost, leading to a group prayer. The ladies visit the Tillersons with food, where Patricia makes pointed comments about murder and asks Kath to share what the Bible says about murder. Back home, Cecilia accidentally starts a small fire while making tea. While opening windows to clear the smoke, she discovers a dead bear cub, which she mysteriously chooses to store in a shed rather than bury. At the hospital, Billy sings Every Rose Has Its Thorn to unconscious Wayne and reminisces about a conversation regarding animal souls after death, where Wayne spoke about Earth swallowing them and sometimes letting them return for vengeance. Billy places Wayne's special rock in his hand. Meanwhile, Luke and Patricia discuss obtaining power of attorney, with Patricia pressuring him to secure the West pasture like his father would. Joy shares a personal trauma story with Matt while discussing Perry's case. She remembers escaping two men who offered her a ride, but authorities refused to charge them because they were white and she was an Indian girl. Matt describes Perry as a good man, but Joy remains convinced of his guilt. Cecilia and Perry have a meaningful conversation about Royal's secretive nature, with Perry acknowledging he shares similar traits. Later, Perry encounters Autumn at a bar, where they discuss their family's perceptions of them as defective. Perry opens up about meeting his wife at UW and their final argument about her returning to Bakersville, California. Autumn makes cryptic suggestions about understanding Rebecca's fate, saying it could be bigger than everyone. Red and Maria share an intimate encounter. Meanwhile, Royal returns home and takes Autumn's necklace to the barn, where he crushes it into pieces. When he rubs the fragments across his palm, they cause violent tremors. He experiences a vision of Cecilia kneeling beside him and hears Autumn saying his name. The episode ends with Royal panting and staring at his hands, now covered in mysterious black soot. Episode 6 opens with Royal meeting Autumn at the black hole. When she demands her necklace back, he takes her on a dangerous four-wheeler ride past her campsite. After she falls off, he reveals he crushed the necklace and threatens to kill her if she doesn't stay away from his family. She claims a special mineral from the necklace exists on Abbott Farm and is linked to time travel. Despite her pleas about understanding the time connection, Royal burns her tent and leaves her stranded. Deputy Joy meets with Kirkland Miller about arresting Red and Perry for Trevor's murder. She explains her evidence. Trevor's stomach contents match his brother's timeline about a hamburger, a dishwasher witnessed Perry beating Trevor, and the Abbotts are lying to protect their sons. Her theory involves them moving the body to their farm and up the mountain. However, the timing doesn't match the coroner's report, as Trevor's body was only dead 4 hours when found. despite being discovered 4 days after the fight. Kirkland reminds Joy of his upcoming election and refuses to proceed with the case, suggesting she shouldn't either. At church, Royal arrives late as Pastor Paul introduces Joy and Martha to the congregation. Meanwhile, Autumn encounters a large black bear in the wilderness. After she lies down and covers her head with her arms, she turns on her back. When she says yellow, a mysterious voice says show him, and the bear walks away. Rhett visits Maria, who expresses wanting a life with him but not there. She predicts his family will always draw him back and questions whether Perry killed Trevor. Rhett insists on their innocence, but Maria says if he's lying, she doesn't really know him. Luke and Patricia receive news from Wayne's attorney that he left everything to Billy. Patricia, knowing Wayne hadn't signed the will, promises to handle the attorney, insisting Luke should run things instead of Billy. After Patricia leaves by helicopter for Aspen, Billy attempts to bond with Luke by suggesting hunting an elk for Wayne, but is harshly shoved away. While tracking an injured elk he shot with an arrow, Billy meets Autumn, who leads him to the black hole while telling a story about an astrologer who fell into a well while always looking up at heaven, missing what was at his feet. Carl Cleaver crashes into a buffalo while drinking a canned beverage. In the barn, Cecilia hurts herself by putting her hand in the dead bear cub's mouth and squeezing its snout as Royal tries to reconnect with her through memories of getting lost at Jubilee Days. Billy visits unconscious Wayne to confirm his suspicions about Abbott's West pasture. When Billy removes Wayne's rock, Wayne's fingers begin moving. Autumn, finding her burnt campsite, makes desperate phone calls about being broke and needing generic lamotrigine from the pharmacy. At a motel, she carves a mysterious symbol into her chest after saying she needs to meet someone now. Perry meets with an angry Autumn, who accuses Royal of attempted murder and suggests he killed Trevor and left her for dead. Perry promises to handle things without police involvement, calling it a new beginning. Later, Autumn returns to find Billy mysteriously taking a bath in her hotel room, discussing whether it is about death. She replies it's about time. At the Abbott family dinner, they pray before Perry reveals he wrote Joy a confession letter about Trevor's murder. This triggers a violent family argument where Rhett slams his chair and blames Perry for Rebecca leaving and Amy being motherless. Royal has to physically restrain them from fighting. Perry explains he confessed because Autumn threatened to tell Joy that Royal was seen with Trevor's body. When Royal shoves Perry during the confrontation, Amy gets hurt and runs outside crying. The episode ends with police lights appearing outside the house as Amy stands crying. Episode 7 opens at a skating rink where Royal Abbott is playing an arcade game. Young Rhett tells him that young Perry got into a fight and knocked out Trevor. Royal finds Perry in the parking lot staring at empty land. On their drive home, Perry won't explain why he hit Trevor. They pass a sign reading America tells you that the only things worth knowing are those which can be known. America is wrong. Years later, adult Perry is in a police car passing that same sign. Deputy Joy questions him about Trevor Tillerson's murder, asking if anyone helped him move the body up the mountain. Perry denies his family knew anything. When asked about his missing wife Rebecca, Perry cryptically says nothing is really gone. He suggests that Rebecca isn't gone in the way people think. At the Abbott farm, a buffalo walks through the entrance toward the family house. Amy Abbott joins Royal and Perry in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Autumn smokes a cigarette outside her hotel room. Royal and Cecilia attend court, where they learn Perry's bail is set at $500,000. They use their property as collateral to secure his release. When Perry gets home, he has an emotional reunion with his daughter Amy. She asks if he was drunk when he killed Trevor. Perry explains he wasn't too drunk to know what he was doing, revealing that he hit Trevor for saying something nasty about Amy's mother. When Amy asks if he knows what happened to her mom, Perry insists he doesn't know. In the barn, Perry apologizes to Royal for his recent behavior but firmly states he can handle whatever comes next. He confronts Royal about Rebecca, saying he doesn't believe his father is telling the truth about not knowing anything. Meanwhile, the Tillerson brothers, Luke and Billy, speak with Deputy Joy. Luke insists Perry must have helped moving Trevor's body up the mountain. Billy brings up something strange their father Wayne saw, a mysterious hole that he found terrifying. After Joy leaves, Billy takes Luke to see the hole on the Abbott's land. When they approach it, Luke notices something unsettling about Billy's appearance. Autumn has an angry phone call with her mother and nearly gets hit by a car before entering a bar. There, she finds Rhett Abbott drinking and learns about Perry's arrest. She becomes strangely intense, insisting Perry is innocent, while appearing to glow red. Later, Deputy Joy has dinner with Martha and Rose Hawk. Frank congratulates Joy on solving the murder case and mentions strange happenings in his area that she should investigate. Cecilia has a dangerous encounter with a black bear near a shed. She manages to shoot it twice, and after watching it suffer, puts it out of its misery with a final shot. At her hotel, Autumn meets with Billy. He tells her about the Abbotts using their ranch as bail and confesses to crushing and eating Wayne's mysterious rocks, which gave him visions of being with her. They kiss after she convinces him to help her stop Royal, and she carves a symbol on his chest matching one she has. When Royal's truck breaks down near the America is Wrong sign, Billy offers him a ride but then holds him at gunpoint. He forces Royal to confess to attempting to kill Autumn and threatens harm to Amy. At a diner called Dippy's, Perry tells Amy it's okay if she leaves with Rebecca if her mother returns. In the bathroom, Autumn calls herself the mother of undying time and talks about controlling a portal between past and present. The episode builds to its climax when Luke tries to smother Wayne with a pillow, but Billy intervenes, leading to a violent fight between the brothers. Deputy Joy discovers a strange dark liquid stream in the woods near Frank's property. Finally, Royal takes Perry to the mysterious hole and reveals a shocking truth. In 1886, as a young boy, he accidentally shot his father during a hunting trip. Unable to face his family, he ran away and jumped into the hole, which transported him to 1968. Perry tells Royal that Autumn somehow knows this story. The episode ends dramatically with Perry falling into the hole while Autumn watches secretly from nearby. Episode 8 opens with Deputy Joy walking through the woods where she encounters a rushing herd of buffalo. Meanwhile, Perry is shown falling endlessly. Autumn visits a pawn shop looking for a gun. At the ranch, Amy finds Rhett washing his hands and asks about Perry's whereabouts. Rhett apologizes for getting into a fight earlier. They talk about the upcoming rodeo championship, with Rhett feeling certain he'll lose because he feels terrible. Amy encourages him, saying she's sure he'll win. They discuss what it would be like to live at the ranch forever. Billy is at home singing to his father Wayne while eating dust from Wayne's special rocks. In another room, Luke stares at a wall of taxidermy owls when Billy approaches him. Billy shares memories of their father bringing home each owl and reveals all their names, mentioning his favorite is named after him. When Luke asks about the mysterious hole's value, Billy seems shocked and mentions it has disappeared. During an intense moment, Billy hugs Luke tightly and offers him the family ranch if he promises not to kill Wayne. Royal arrives at Autumn's motel with a pistol hidden in his waistband. The motel attendant greets him by name and tells him Autumn is in room 210. After breaking into her room, he finds she's escaped through the bathroom window. He spots Billy's truck turning around in the parking lot. Meanwhile, Cecilia has an emotional phone conversation with Kathy about Perry's disappearance, choosing not to tell Rhett before his important rodeo championship. She screams that if Perry is gone, they'll lose the ranch next. At the bank, Autumn has a tense confrontation with Maria Olivares over carrying a gun. Though Autumn insists she has a carry permit, they argue until Autumn leaves. Outside, she meets Billy, who warns her about Royal and promises to protect her. They kiss while Maria watches in shock through the window. Luke calls his mother Patricia about finding the hole, telling her they'll make a fortune from it. When he confesses to attempting to kill Wayne, she pretends not to hear him. While Cecilia prepares a family dinner for after the rodeo, Amy asks what will happen if Rhett loses. Cecilia insists the family will eat together no matter what happens. At the rodeo, Royal tries to talk to Rhett but is stopped by security. He warns Rhett he might not be around much longer and asks him to find something. During the event, Rhett performs well on his first ride but falls and injures his shoulder. While the crowd cheers for Rhett, Amy wanders alone and encounters Rebecca, her missing mother. Rebecca claims she's been hiding and convinces Amy to leave with her while Cecilia frantically searches the crowd. Despite his injured shoulder, Rhett continues to compete. A man helps pop his shoulder back in place, warning him about the dangers of riding injured. When Rhett prepares for his final ride, someone promises him a free chicken dinner if he survives. He succeeds in his ride, impressing Maria who watches from the crowd. After his victory, Rhett meets Maria and professes his love, saying he wants to start a new life with her somewhere else. As Luke digs for the hole, strange dark liquid seeps from the ground, making him laugh hysterically. Suddenly, buffalo begin emerging from the hole. In town, Royal and Autumn have a dramatic shootout, with Billy joining the fight. During a car chase, Billy's truck crashes and rolls down a hill with Autumn inside. As Royal approaches the crash site, a massive herd of buffalo appears, forcing him to hide under a truck. The stampede causes Rhett and Maria's truck to crash into the America is Wrong sign. Royal spots a buffalo with an arrow in its side and removes it. After examining Autumn, he experiences flashbacks to their first meeting and memories of sharing ice cream with Amy. He places Autumn's lifeless body in a bed. The episode concludes with Royal returning home to Cecilia, explaining how he tried to protect her from himself and wants to reunite their family. Cecilia responds by angrily pushing over the dining table, saying their family is gone. When she mentions Amy's disappearance, Royal insists she isn't really gone. The episode ends mysteriously with a pot vibrating on the countertop.